Hello. Today we're going to be continuing on our mini-series on place value. As a reminder, last time we looked at how to write three-digit numbers using place value, which we did by first counting the number of hundreds in the number, so that would be the hundreds digit. Then we counted the tens, which would be the tens digit, and we counted the ones, which would be the ones digit, and we'll put them in this order. So the hundreds would go in the hundreds digit on the left, the tens would be the middle digit, and the ones go in the right. You can remember that forwards as hundred, tens, ones, or backwards as ones, tens, then hundreds. Whatever works for you. So just as a quick recap, we're going to look at this example here, where again we're using the setup of lots of ones, lots of these lines that we have to count up and figure out, the hundreds, tens, and ones. So let's give it a go. As we did last time, we're going to start with the the hundreds, and we can do that by counting up in tens, like this. So 10, we start with 10, then 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we've got 100 here, and we'll draw a pink outline to signify that we've counted 100. Then we can do it again, looking sort of onto the next numbers, or the next tallies, lines. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we have another 100 here. And we continue counting. So there's 10, 20, 30, and is that 10? Because it's sort of the last one we have. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's not another 10. So we must just have this 1, 2, 3 tens. And we'll signify it. There's 110 here, 110 here, and 110 here. And then, as I mentioned just there before, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones left over. So there's 1, 2, 2 hundreds. So that goes in the hundreds digit. There's 3 tens, which goes in the tens digit. And there's 6 ones. That goes in the ones. So we have 200, 3 tens, and 6 ones. So this number would then be 200, and 3 tens is 30, and then 6. So 236. Now, that's sort of what we've got so far. We've got the number in place value, and we've got the number in words. And these two are linked. We've got the 2 comes up there, 3 corresponds to the 30, the 6 corresponds to the 6. And there's lots of other ways that we can sort of write this, express this. And this is important because if you can express numbers in different ways, you can understand relationships, what it means to be a number. And as I say, that's really important. So another way we can think about this representations here is to think about the value of each of the parts, because we've got place value, which is 2, 3, and 6. But what does this 2 mean? What does this 3 mean? What does that 6 mean? So if we look at the value of our number, well, 2 is in the hundreds digit, so that means it represents 200. So sort of, if we were to put that just in, just focus on this 200, if we were to write that as a number, it would be 200. So that corresponds to the hundreds. And then this 3 tens, well, if it's 3 tens, we would write that as 3 and then 0, because there's 0 ones. So 200 would be 200, because it's 2 hundreds and then nothing. 3 tens is 3 in the tens digit and then 0 to the right of that. And then 6 ones is just the number 6, because it's 6 in the ones digit. So what we have here is the value of each of the digits. We see 200 is 2 followed by 2 zeros. 3 tens is 3 followed by 1 0, and 6 ones is 6 followed by no zeros. And sort of, we can link this representation back to the place value by saying, well, actually, we can do a number representation of 236 as 200 plus 30 plus 6. Or this could be the decomposition. So we could say 236 can be decomposed as 200 plus 30 plus 6. Okay, so that's sort of looking at the type of thing we explored during last video. If we were to just skip out that first step we had before there of looking at all these lines and just go straight into here, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at writing each of these 3-digit numbers in words, in the digit values, and then the number decomposition. So I'll give you some time now to pause the video and try it out. Okay, so looking at this first example here, we have 542. So in words, it's 542. Thinking about the values, we have 5 in the hundreds digit, so that would be 500, and then 4 in the tens digit, so that would be 4 tens, or 4 0, and then 2 ones, so it'd be just 2. And so our number decomposition of 542 would be 500 plus 40 plus 2. Okay, for this second example, we have the number 797. So 7 is in the hundreds digit, so it'd start with 700. 9 is in the tens digit, so it'd be and 90. And then 7 is in the ones digit, so it'd be 7. As values, 7 is in the hundreds digit, so it'd be 700, 7 followed by 2 zeros. 9 is in the tens digit, so it'd be 9 followed by 1 0. And then 7 is in the ones, so it'd be 7 followed by 0 zeros. And we'd make the number decomposition. We can just write it as what we have above with these plus signs between them. Okay, on to the last example here. We have 800s, because 8 is in the leftmost digit, so 800. There's 0 tens, so that means sort of 0. And when we have 0 in one of these digits over to the left here, or anywhere really, we just sort of don't mention it because it's 0 is nothing. So if we have nothing, then we don't call it a name unless it's just nothing or 0. But yeah, essentially we'll just miss that out. And then we'll go straight on to this 1, which is 1, 1, so 801. Looking at the values, we have 800. The value of 0 would just be 0. You could write it as 00 if you want. It's up to you. Just to sort of copy that pattern of writing a 0 after the tens digit. And then this digit here is just 1, 1, so it'd be a 1. So the number decomposition would be 800 plus 0 or 00 plus 1. Okay, so sort of what we're going to do now that we've made a lot of progress with looking at 3-digit numbers, is to have a go at 4-digit numbers, but a bit more streamlined. If you've been following along with these videos, you've seen the process we go through. You've seen this counting ones. You've seen how we go between all of these representations. Now that we're doing 4 digits, what I want to do is just to skip straight into looking at the values, what digits mean, looking at place value, so as I say, looking at this 4-digit number setup, we can see that we still have a ones digit on the right, a tens digit here, just to the left of the ones, a hundreds digit just to the left of the tens. So nothing has changed here. All that's different now is that we have this blue number or digit here, which would be the thousands digit. So, for example, if we had this number, which would be 8193, then we'd say 8 is the thousands digit, 1 is the hundreds digit, 9 is the tens digit, and 3 is the ones digit. And in words, that would be 8 8,000, and then it would be 100, so 8,100. 9 tens is 90, so it'll be and 90, and then 3 ones, so that's just 3. So in words, this number is 8,193. And that's because we have 8 in the thousands digit, 1 in the hundreds digit, 9 in the tens digit, and 3 in the ones digit. Okay. So if we go from right to left here, thinking about what the value of each of these digits are, well, we've already seen from our previous examples that when we just have 3 ones, that just means the number 3. Plainly and simply, 3 ones is 3. When we have 9 tens, that means 90. That means 9 tens. That means in place value, it'd be a 9 because there's 9 tens, followed by a 0. When we have 100 in words, that in place value would be a 1 in the hundreds digit, followed by a 0 and a 0. And we haven't done this yet. We haven't seen what 8,000 would be in place value. But what I want you to think about is the pattern that we've got moving from right to left here. There's no zeros, and then there's 1 0, and then there's 2 zeros. So how many zeros do you think goes in the value of the thousands digit? If you said 3, well done. Because we'd have 3 zeros following the 8. So the value of this 8 digit in the thousands digit is 8,000, or 8000. So then our number decomposition would be 8,000 plus 100 plus 90 plus 3. Okay, very good. So let's have a look at an example here. Here we have, or rather a question. Here we have lots of numbers, lots of 4-digit numbers. We have 8,173. We have 9,264. 1,134. And then we have 3 more numbers along the bottom here. And what I want you to do is to have a go at working out sort of what these digits represent. Specifically, pause the video and have a go at working out which number has 5 in the thousands place, and then which number has 2 in the hundreds place. If you need some help, continue the video, otherwise pause now. Okay, I've just added here this extra picture which shows the thousands, hundreds, tens and ones, just if you need some extra help there. So pause now and give it a go. Okay, so this first question here, which number has 5 in the thousands place? Well, the thousands place is this sort of number on the left. So the question's asking us which number has 5 on the left. And if we look, that's not a 5, 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 that is a 5. So the answer to question 1 would be this number here. So 5, 4, 5, 1. Okay. We have another question. Which number has 2 in the hundreds place? So if we look again, the hundreds place is sort of this digit here. It's 2 from the left, or it's 1, 2, 3 from the right. So we're looking at the sort of second digit along. So 2, that's not a 2. That is a 2. So we draw a box around that. That's not a 2. That's not a 2. That's not a 2. That's not a 2. Okay. So the answer is 9264. So our answers were 5451 or 5451, and then 9264, 9264. Okay, looking at another example here, what I want you to do is pause the video, have a go at figuring out what is the value of each of these digits written separately, and then how can we write this number in expanded form, or sort of its number decomposition. That's just what we did before, where there was plus signs to go between. So if you pause the video now, give it a go, and come back when you've finished. Okay, so starting from the right, we have 2 ones, which just is the number 2. There's 7 tens, 70, 7 followed by 1 0. There's 3 hundreds, so that's 3 followed by 2 zeros, and there's 6 thousands, so that's 6 followed by 3 zeros. And so if we wanted to write our number in expanded form, or its number decomposition, we'd write it as 6,000 plus 300 plus 70 plus 2. Well done if you managed to get that. Okay, we've done a lot this lesson. I appreciate it's been sort of quite tough. The aim, I view, is to move us on sort of quickly from going from what we've done with the going from numbers to words to values to number decomposition. What I want you to have a go at now is to try and get from the numbers all the way to their decomposition in one step, in one quick step. And that's the aim of this exercise. What I want us to be able to do is to see a number like this and then go straight into something that looks like that. And I'm going to give it a go for this one, and then I'm going to leave this one as an exercise for you. But we'll just focus on this top one for now. Okay, so I'm going to put my pen down just to signify that I'm doing it in my head. I'm not writing anything more down. You can, when you're working it out by yourself, write as much down as you need to, but our aim is to get us to be able to do this without writing things down. Okay, so the number is 7326, 7,326. I'm going to start from the right, just because I find that easier. Thinking about what each of the digits mean, because the right is always the ones. And I know with the ones, that's the easiest part. I just take this number 6 and write it here. And that's 1 out of the 4 steps done already. Okay, looking at this next digit along, the 2, again, I can sort of write down a 2 here, because I know that it's always going to start with sort of the 2. And then, because it's in the tens place, because it's just along here, let's go to ones and tens, then there's going to be 1 0 after. Writing 3, because taking that down there. It's in the hundreds place, so there's going to be 1, 2 zeros after it. And then looking at the 7, I'll write that down. And then there's 1, 2, 3 zeros after that. Okay, so that's our number in expanded form. What I want you to have a go at now is to try and do the exact same thing for this number here. So pause the video and give it a go. Okay, so hopefully if you've given this a go, then you should be getting something like 5 plus 70, 7 0, so 7 with 1 0, plus 100, so that's 1 with 2 zeros, and then plus 1 with 3 zeros. Yeah. Okay. So in this video, we've looked at the value of digits in a number, specifically for 4 digits numbers, and we've looked at the expanded form of these numbers. So we've worked our way between 7931, thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones, so it'd be 7,931. We've written the value of these numbers, and we've written the expanded form or number decomposition or number representation as 7,000 plus 900 plus 31. And if you managed to make it this far, well done. Done some amazing work today, and I'll see you in the next video.